Picture this, a Roman legion, thousands strong, marching through the dense forests of ancient Britain. The sound of their armor clinking, the rhythmic thud of their boots, and the faint hum of their battle chants echo through the mist. But as the fog thickens, their figures blur, their voices fade, and soon they are gone, vanished, not a trace left behind. This is not just a scene from a movie or a fragment of imagination. This is one of history's greatest mysteries, the disappearance of entire Roman legions, swallowed by time, leaving behind only whispers and questions. What happened to these elite forces of the ancient world? Were they annihilated in battle? Did they desert their posts? Or did they vanish into the unknown, their fates lost to the ages? Today, we embark on a journey through the shadows of history to uncover the secrets of 35 lost Roman legions. From the forests of Germania to the deserts of Parthia, from the icy frontiers of Caledonia to the bustling streets of the eastern provinces, we'll explore the most intriguing stories of these vanished forces. Each tale is a puzzle, a mystery waiting to be solved. So, if you're ready to step into the world of ancient Rome, where history and legend intertwine, stay with us. By the end of this video, you'll not only discover the fates of these legions, but also unravel the enduring enigmas that have baffled historians for centuries. Let's begin. Now, let's turn our attention to one of the most enduring mysteries of Roman history, the disappearance of the Ninth Legion. Known as the Legio Nona Hispana, this formidable force was stationed in Britain during the early 2nd century. Around the year 120 AD, the Ninth Legion vanished from historical records, leaving behind a trail of questions and speculation. What happened to these soldiers who once stood as a symbol of Roman power in the far reaches of the empire? One of the most popular theories suggests that the Ninth Legion met its end at the hands of the Picts, the fierce tribes of northern Britain. According to this idea, the legion may have been ambushed and annihilated during a campaign into hostile territory. The rugged terrain and guerrilla tactics of the Picts could have overwhelmed the Roman forces, leading to their complete destruction. However, this theory remains unproven, as no definitive evidence of such a battle has been found. Another possibility is that the Ninth Legion rebelled against Roman authority. Discontent among soldiers, perhaps due to harsh conditions or lack of pay, could have sparked a mutiny. If the rebellion was crushed, the legion might have been disbanded and its name erased from official records as a form of punishment. This would explain why the Ninth Legion suddenly disappears from historical accounts. A third theory proposes that the legion was simply relocated to another part of the empire. Some historians argue that the Ninth Legion may have been sent to the eastern provinces, where it could have been absorbed into other units or destroyed in later conflicts. While this idea offers a less dramatic explanation, it still leaves the ultimate fate of the legion shrouded in mystery. Archaeological evidence, such as the Vindolanda tablets, provide some clues but no definitive answers. These ancient wooden tablets, discovered at a Roman fort near Hadrian's Wall, contain letters and records from soldiers stationed in Britain. While they offer a glimpse into daily life on the frontier, they do not mention the fate of the Ninth Legion. This absence of information only deepens the enigma. The disappearance of the Ninth Legion has captured the imagination of historians, writers, and filmmakers for centuries. Its story has inspired countless books, movies, and debates, each offering a new perspective on what might have happened. Yet, despite all the theories and investigations, the fate of the Ninth Legion remains one of history's greatest unsolved mysteries. As we move forward, we'll explore how this vanished legion has left an indelible mark on both history and popular culture. The story of the Ninth Legion has transcended the pages of history, becoming a source of fascination for writers, filmmakers, and historians alike. Its mysterious disappearance has sparked countless interpretations, each adding layers to the legend. One of the most famous depictions comes from Rosemary Sutcliffe's novel The Eagle of the Ninth, published in 1954. This book reimagines the fate of the Legion through the eyes of a young Roman officer searching for the lost Eagle standard. Sutcliffe's vivid storytelling brought the Ninth Legion to life for modern audiences, blending historical detail with compelling fiction. The novel's success inspired adaptations, including a 2011 film titled The Eagle, which brought the mystery to the big screen. Beyond literature and cinema, the Ninth Legion has also fueled heated debates among historians. Some argue that its disappearance was a turning point in Roman Britain, marking the limits of imperial expansion. Others see it as a cautionary tale about the challenges of maintaining control over distant territories. These discussions have kept the Legion's story alive in academic circles, with new theories emerging as archaeological discoveries shed light on the Roman frontier. The cultural impact of the Ninth Legion extends even further, influencing everything from video games to television series. Its enigmatic fate has become a symbol of the unknown, a reminder of how much of history remains hidden beneath the surface. Whether through scholarly research or creative storytelling, the Ninth Legion continues to captivate imaginations, proving that some mysteries are timeless. As we reflect on the legacy of the Ninth Legion, one thing is clear: its disappearance has left an indelible mark on our understanding of Roman history. The unanswered questions surrounding its fate invite us to explore, question, and imagine, ensuring that the story of this lost legion will endure for generations to come. Now, let's turn our attention to another dramatic chapter in Roman military history, the catastrophic defeat of the legions in the Teutoburg Forest. Shifting our focus to another haunting chapter in Roman military history, we arrive at the Teutoburg Forest in the year 9 AD, where one of the most devastating defeats in Roman history unfolded. This was the catastrophic loss of 3 Roman legions, a disaster so profound that it echoed across the empire and left an indelible scar on its military ambitions. The man at the center of this tragedy was Publius Quinctilius Varus, a Roman general whose name would forever be tied to this calamity. Varus, appointed to govern the newly conquered territories of Germania, was tasked with bringing Roman order to the region. However, he underestimated the cunning and resolve of the Germanic tribes, particularly their leader, Arminius. Arminius, a Germanic chieftain who had served in the Roman army, used his knowledge of Roman tactics to orchestrate a devastating ambush. He lured Varus and his legions, the 17th, 18th, and 19th, into the dense, unfamiliar terrain of the Teutoburg Forest. What followed was a brutal 3-day massacre. The Germanic warriors, using guerrilla tactics and the forest's natural defenses, decimated the Roman forces. The legions, stretched thin and unable to form their usual disciplined formations, were cut down in droves. By the end of the battle, an estimated 15,000 Roman soldiers lay dead, and the survivors were either captured or scattered. The aftermath of this defeat was nothing short of catastrophic for Rome. The loss of 3 entire legions was a blow to both the empire's military strength and its reputation. Emperor Augustus, upon hearing the news, was said to have been overcome with grief and despair. According to the Roman historian Suetonius, Augustus would wander his palace, repeatedly crying out, "Varus, give me back my legions." This phrase became a symbol of the empire's vulnerability and the high cost of overextension. The defeat at Teutoburg Forest marked the end of Rome's ambitions to conquer Germania, effectively establishing the Rhine River as the empire's northern boundary. The story of the lost legions of Varus is not just a tale of military failure, but also a lesson in the dangers of hubris and the unpredictability of warfare. It serves as a stark reminder of how even the mightiest empires can be humbled by the resilience and ingenuity of those they seek to conquer. As we move forward, we'll explore how modern archaeology has brought new insights into this ancient tragedy, shedding light on the battlefield and the lives of those who fought and fell in the Teutoburg Forest. The echoes of the Teutoburg Forest massacre lingered for centuries, shrouded in mystery and legend, until modern archaeology began to peel back the layers of time. Fast forward to the late 20th century, when a British amateur archaeologist named Tony Clun made a discovery that would change our understanding of this ancient tragedy. While searching near the town of Kalkris in northern Germany, Clun unearthed Roman coins and artifacts that hinted at something far more significant. His findings sparked a full-scale excavation, and what emerged was nothing short of extraordinary. The long-lost battlefield of the Teutoburg Forest. The site revealed a grim tableau of the battle's aftermath. Archaeologists uncovered fragments of Roman armor, weapons, and even human remains, all scattered across the forest floor. Among the most striking finds were the remnants of Roman helmets, their once polished surfaces now corroded by centuries of exposure. These artifacts painted a vivid picture of the chaos and carnage that unfolded during those fateful 3 days. The discovery of a mass grave containing the bones of Roman soldiers further confirmed the scale of the slaughter. These men, who had marched into the forest with the might of Rome behind them, met their end in a place far from home, their stories preserved only in the soil. One of the most significant revelations from the excavation was the evidence of the Germanic tribes' tactics. The battlefield was littered with remnants of makeshift fortifications, ditches, barricades, and traps that the Germanic warriors used to funnel the Roman legions into kill zones. This discovery confirmed the accounts of ancient historians who described how Arminius exploited the terrain to devastating effect. The dense forest, combined with these strategic defenses, turned the battlefield into a death trap for the Romans. The artifacts also provided insights into the lives of the soldiers who fought and died there. Personal items such as belt buckles, brooches, and even gaming pieces offered a glimpse into the daily lives of these men. These small, everyday objects humanized the tragedy, reminding us that the legions were not just faceless soldiers but individuals with their own stories, hopes, and fears. The rediscovery of the Teutoburg Forest battlefield has reshaped our understanding of this pivotal event in Roman history. It has allowed historians to piece together a more accurate account of the battle, moving beyond the dramatic narratives of ancient texts to uncover the gritty reality of warfare. The site has also become a place of remembrance where visitors can walk in the footsteps of those who fought and fell nearly 2,000 years ago. As we continue our journey through the stories of lost Roman legions, the Teutoburg Forest serves as a powerful reminder of the fragility of empires and the enduring impact of history. Next, we'll turn our attention to another vanished force, the legions of Crassus, whose fate in the deserts of Parthia remains one of the most enduring mysteries of the ancient world. Now, let us journey from the dense forests of Germania to the arid deserts of the East, where another Roman legion met a fate shrouded in mystery. The story of Crassus and his legions is one of ambition, hubris, and a catastrophic defeat that would echo through the ages. In the year 53 BC, Marcus Licinius Crassus, one of Rome's wealthiest and most powerful men, led an army of over 40,000 soldiers into the heart of Parthian territory. His goal was to expand Rome's eastern frontier and secure his own legacy. But what followed was a disaster that would leave his legions lost to history. The Battle of Carrhae, fought in the scorching heat of the Mesopotamian desert, was a turning point for Rome. Crassus, inexperienced in desert warfare, found his forces outmaneuvered and overwhelmed by the Parthians, masters of cavalry and archery. The Parthian horse archers, with their deadly composite bows, rained down arrows on the Roman formations, while their heavily armored cataphracts charged into the fray. The Romans, accustomed to close-quarters combat, were ill-prepared for this style of warfare. By the end of the battle, Crassus was dead and his legions were decimated. But what happened to the survivors? One of the most enduring theories is that the captured Roman soldiers were enslaved and sent to work in the far reaches of the Parthian Empire. Ancient sources suggest that some were transported to the eastern frontier near modern-day Turkmenistan, where they were forced to toil in harsh conditions. Others may have been integrated into Parthian society, serving as mercenaries or laborers. The idea of Roman soldiers, once proud defenders of the empire, living out their days in distant lands is both haunting and fascinating. Another intriguing possibility is that some of Crassus's men ended up in China. According to a controversial theory, a group of Roman prisoners may have been resettled in the western regions of the Han Empire. This theory is supported by accounts of a strange settlement in the Gansu province, where the inhabitants reportedly had features and customs reminiscent of Roman culture. While this claim remains debated among historians, it adds another layer of mystery to the fate of Crassus's legions. The disappearance of these legions raises questions about the resilience and adaptability of Roman soldiers. Did they assimilate into foreign cultures, or did they cling to their Roman identity in exile? The lack of definitive answers only deepens the intrigue surrounding their fate. What is clear is that the Battle of Carrhae marked a humiliating defeat for Rome and a cautionary tale of overreach and miscalculation. As we reflect on the vanished legions of Crassus, we are reminded of the unpredictable nature of history and the countless stories that remain untold. Next, we'll explore how this tragic event may have left an unexpected legacy along the ancient Silk Road, connecting Rome and China in ways that continue to captivate historians to this day. Now, let's turn our attention to one of the most fascinating theories surrounding the fate of Crassus's legions, the possibility that some of these Roman soldiers found their way to China. This idea, while controversial, offers a tantalizing glimpse into the interconnectedness of the ancient world through the Silk Road. The Silk Road, a vast network of trade routes stretching from the Mediterranean to East Asia, was not just a conduit for goods but also for people, ideas, and cultures. Could it have carried Roman soldiers to the heart of the Han Empire? The theory hinges on a curious account from ancient Chinese records. In the 1st century BC, during the reign of Emperor Wu of Han, a strange settlement was reportedly established in the Gansu province near the western frontier of the empire. The inhabitants of this settlement were said to have distinct features and customs that set them apart from the local population. Some historians have speculated that these people could have been Roman soldiers, captured after the Battle of Carrhae and resettled in China. The idea is further supported by archaeological findings in the region, including artifacts and structures that bear a striking resemblance to Roman designs. One of the most compelling pieces of evidence comes from the ancient city of Lycian, located in modern-day Gansu. Excavations in the area have uncovered remnants of a fortified settlement with architectural features reminiscent of Roman military camps. Additionally, some of the local population in this region has been noted to have physical traits such as lighter hair and eyes that are uncommon among the Han Chinese. While these findings are intriguing, they remain inconclusive, and the theory continues to spark debate among scholars. If true, the presence of Roman soldiers in China would have had significant implications for both empires. These men, far from their homeland, might have served as mercenaries, leveraging their military expertise to protect the Han Empire's western borders. Alternatively, they could have integrated into local communities, bringing with them Roman customs, technologies, and even language. This cultural exchange would have enriched the already vibrant tapestry of the Silk Road, blending Roman and Chinese traditions in unexpected ways. The Silk Road connection also raises questions about the broader impact of Rome's eastern campaigns. The defeat at Carrhae was a stark reminder of the limits of Roman power, but it also highlighted the empire's reach and influence. The idea that Roman soldiers could have traveled thousands of miles to settle in China underscores the vast scale of ancient trade networks and the fluidity of human movement in the ancient world. It challenges our understanding of cultural boundaries and reminds us that history is often more interconnected than we realize. As we ponder the fate of Crassus's legions, we are left with a sense of wonder at the possibilities. Whether these soldiers truly reached China or not, their story invites us to explore the enduring legacy of the Silk Road and the countless lives it touched. Next, we'll delve into another enigmatic chapter in Roman military history, the disappearance of the Legio XXII Deitariana, a legion that vanished from the records during the tumultuous Bar Kokhba revolt. Shifting our focus to another enigmatic chapter in Roman military history, we now turn to the mysterious fate of the Legio XXII Deitariana. This legion, last documented in the year 132 AD during the Bar Kokhba revolt, vanished from historical records without a trace, leaving behind a puzzle that continues to intrigue historians and enthusiasts alike. What happened to this once formidable force, and why does its disappearance remain one of the great unsolved mysteries of the Roman Empire? The Legio XXII Deitariana had a storied past, originally raised in the late 1st century BC by King Deiotarus of Galatia, a Roman client state. After its incorporation into the Roman army, the legion served in various campaigns across the empire, including in Egypt, where it was stationed for much of its existence. However, its final mention comes during the Bar Kokhba revolt, a massive Jewish uprising against Roman rule in Judea. This revolt, which lasted from 132 to 135 AD, was one of the most brutal conflicts in Roman history, and it is here that the trail of the Legio XXII Deitariana goes cold. One prevailing theory suggests that the legion was utterly destroyed during the revolt. The Bar Kokhba forces were known for their fierce resistance and guerrilla tactics, which inflicted heavy casualties on the Roman legions. If the Legio XXII Deitariana was among the units sent to quell the rebellion, it is possible that it suffered catastrophic losses, leading to its complete annihilation. This would explain its sudden disappearance from Roman records, as a destroyed legion would no longer be listed among the empire's active military units. Another possibility is that the legion was disbanded rather than destroyed. The Roman military occasionally disbanded units that were deemed ineffective or unreliable, often as a punitive measure. If the Legio XXII Deitariana failed to perform adequately during the revolt, it might have been dissolved, with its soldiers reassigned to other legions or discharged. This would also account for its absence from later records, as a disbanded legion would no longer exist as a distinct entity. A third theory proposes that the legion was simply reassigned to a different region and renamed, a practice not uncommon in the Roman military. However, this explanation is less convincing, as there is no evidence of a legion with similar characteristics appearing elsewhere in the empire after the Bar Kokhba revolt. The lack of any mention of the Legio XXII Deitariana in subsequent records strongly suggests that it met a definitive end, whether through destruction, disbandment, or some other fate. The mystery of the Legio XXII Deitariana is further compounded by the scarcity of archaeological evidence. Unlike other lost legions, such as the Ninth or the legions of Varus, there are no known battlefields or artifacts directly linked to its disappearance. This absence of physical evidence makes it difficult to draw definitive conclusions about its fate, leaving historians to rely on fragmentary records and educated speculation. As we reflect on the disappearance of the Legio XXII Deitariana, we are reminded of the fragility of historical knowledge. The gaps in our understanding of this legion's fate highlight the challenges of reconstructing the past, especially when dealing with events that occurred nearly 2,000 years ago. Yet, it is precisely these mysteries that make the study of history so compelling, inviting us to piece together the fragments of the past and imagine the stories they might tell. Next, we'll journey to the Rhine frontier, where the stories of legions stationed along this volatile border reveal another layer of the Roman Empire's military struggles and the enigmatic fates of its soldiers. Now, let's turn our attention to the Rhine frontier, a region that served as both a lifeline and a battleground for the Roman Empire. This volatile border, stretching across what is now modern-day Germany and the Netherlands, was a critical line of defense against the Germanic tribes. It was here, during the empire's decline, that several legions were stationed only to vanish from history without a trace. The stories of these lost legions offer a glimpse into the challenges Rome faced as it struggled to maintain its vast territories. The Rhine frontier was no ordinary posting. It was a place of constant tension where Roman soldiers stood guard against frequent incursions by Germanic tribes. These legions were the empire's first line of defense, tasked with protecting the heart of Rome from the barbarian threat. Yet, as the empire began to weaken in the 3rd and 4th centuries AD, the legions stationed along the Rhine found themselves increasingly vulnerable. The once mighty Roman military machine was stretched thin, and the Rhine legions bore the brunt of this strain. One of the most intriguing aspects of these lost legions is the scarcity of records about their fate. Unlike the legions that disappeared in dramatic battles or well-documented conflicts, the Rhine legions seem to have faded quietly from history. This lack of information has led to a variety of theories about what might have happened to them. Some historians suggest that these legions were gradually worn down by relentless attacks from Germanic tribes, their numbers dwindling until they were no longer effective fighting forces. Others propose that internal strife, such as mutinies or desertions, may have played a role in their disappearance. Another possibility is that these legions were absorbed into the local populations. As the Roman Empire's grip on its frontiers weakened, soldiers stationed in remote areas like the Rhine may have integrated with the communities they were supposed to defend. This blending of Roman and Germanic cultures could explain why these legions left so little trace in the historical record. Over time, their distinct identity as Roman soldiers may have dissolved, leaving behind only fragments of their legacy. The role of these legions in defending the empire cannot be overstated. They were the guardians of Rome's northern borders, holding back the tide of invasions that would eventually contribute to the empire's collapse. Yet, despite their importance, their stories remain shrouded in mystery. The absence of detailed records about their fate is a reminder of how much we still don't know about this turbulent period in Roman history. As we reflect on the lost legions of the Rhine, we are reminded of the fragility of empires and the sacrifices of those who defended them. These soldiers, whose names and deeds have been lost to time, played a crucial role in the story of Rome. Their disappearance is a testament to the challenges of maintaining an empire in the face of relentless pressure and internal decay. Next, we'll venture further east, where the phantom legions of the Roman Empire's eastern provinces left behind their own enigmatic legacy. Now, shifting our gaze to the eastern reaches of the Roman Empire, we uncover the enigmatic tale of the phantom legions. These were the units dispatched to the eastern provinces, tasked with securing Rome's interests in a region fraught with tension and conflict. Yet, unlike their counterparts in the West, these legions left behind only faint echoes in the historical record, their stories obscured by the passage of time. The eastern frontier was a vastly different theater of operation compared to the Rhine or Britain. Here, Rome faced off against formidable adversaries like the Parthian and later the Sassanid empires, both of which wielded significant military power and strategic influence. The legions sent to this region were often thrust into a complex web of diplomacy, warfare, and cultural exchange. Their missions ranged from defending Roman territories to launching ambitious campaigns deep into enemy lands. Yet, despite their critical role, many of these legions seem to have vanished without a trace. One of the most puzzling aspects of these phantom legions is the scarcity of records detailing their activities. While we know that Rome maintained a significant military presence in the East, the specifics of which legions were stationed where and what became of them remain frustratingly elusive. This lack of documentation has fueled speculation about their fate. Were they destroyed in forgotten battles? Did they merge with local populations, their Roman identity gradually fading away? or were they reassigned to other regions, their names and deeds lost in the shuffle of history? One theory suggests that these legions may have been heavily involved in the frequent conflicts with Parthia and Persia. The eastern frontier was a hotbed of military activity, with both sides launching raids, counter-raids, and full-scale invasions. It's possible that some legions were decimated in these clashes, their losses so severe that they were disbanded or absorbed into other units. The chaotic nature of these wars, combined with the vast distances involved, could explain why so little information about their fate has survived. Another intriguing possibility is that these legions played a role in the cultural and political dynamics of the region. The eastern provinces were a melting pot of Roman, Greek, Persian, and local traditions. Soldiers stationed here may have integrated into these diverse communities, adopting local customs and even intermarrying with the population. Over time, their distinct identity as Roman soldiers could have dissolved, leaving behind only scattered traces of their presence. This blending of cultures might explain why these legions left so little mark in the historical record. The phantom legions of the East also raise questions about the broader challenges Rome faced in maintaining its empire. The eastern frontier was a constant drain on resources, requiring significant manpower and logistical support. Yet, despite these efforts, the region remained a source of instability and conflict. The disappearance of these legions serves as a reminder of the immense difficulties Rome encountered in trying to control such a vast and diverse empire. As we ponder the fate of these mysterious units, we are reminded of the complexities of Roman military history. The phantom legions of the East may have vanished from the records, but their legacy endures in the questions they leave behind. What role did they play in the empire's struggles? How did their experiences shape the broader story of Rome's eastern frontier? These are mysteries that continue to captivate historians and enthusiasts alike. Next, we'll journey to the rugged terrain of Dacia, where the legions of Trajan's campaigns faced their own set of challenges and mysteries. Turning our attention to the rugged landscapes of Dacia, we now delve into the story of the legions that fought in Trajan's Dacian Wars. These campaigns, waged between 101 and 106 AD, were among the most ambitious military endeavors of the Roman Empire. Trajan, determined to expand Rome's borders and secure its wealth, led his legions into the heart of Dacia, a region known for its fierce warriors and challenging terrain. Yet, despite their victories, some of these legions seem to have vanished from the historical record, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions. The Dacian Wars were marked by intense fighting and significant Roman losses. The Dacians, led by their king Decebalus, were formidable opponents, skilled in guerrilla warfare and the use of their mountainous homeland to their advantage. Roman legions faced not only the enemy but also the harsh conditions of the Carpathian Mountains, where supply lines were stretched thin and the weather could be as deadly as any sword. It's no surprise, then, that some legions may have suffered heavy casualties during these campaigns. Entire units could have been decimated in battle, their names erased from the rolls as they were absorbed into other legions or disbanded altogether. Another possibility is that these legions were reassigned to other parts of the empire after the wars. Trajan's conquest of Dacia brought vast wealth to Rome, particularly in the form of gold and silver mines. To secure these new territories, some legions may have been stationed permanently in Dacia, their identities gradually fading as they became part of the local garrison. Over time, these units might have been reorganized or renamed, their original designations lost to history. This was not uncommon in the Roman military, where legions were often shuffled and repurposed to meet the empire's ever-changing needs. The lack of detailed records from this period adds to the mystery. While we know that Trajan's column in Rome depicts scenes from the Dacian Wars, providing a visual record of the conflict, written accounts are sparse. This scarcity of information has led historians to speculate about the fate of these legions. Were they simply casualties of war, their stories buried alongside their fallen comrades? or did they continue to serve in obscurity, their contributions overlooked by the historians of the time? One intriguing theory suggests that some of these legions may have been involved in the later conflicts that plagued the region. After Trajan's conquest, Dacia remained a volatile frontier, subject to frequent uprisings and invasions. Legions stationed here would have been constantly engaged in maintaining order, their ranks depleted by ongoing skirmishes. Over time, these units might have been so reduced in number that they were merged with others, their original identities lost in the process. The forgotten legions of the Dacian Wars remind us of the immense human cost of Rome's expansion. These soldiers who marched into the unknown to secure the empire's borders often paid the ultimate price. Their stories, though shrouded in mystery, are a testament to the challenges and sacrifices of life on the Roman frontier. As we reflect on their fate, we are left to wonder how many other legions met similar ends, their names and deeds lost to the passage of time. Next, we'll explore the legions involved in the Jewish revolt, a conflict that tested the might of Rome in a different but equally dramatic way. Now, shifting our focus to the tumultuous years of the Jewish revolt, we uncover the fate of the Roman legions tasked with quelling one of the most significant uprisings in the empire's history. Between 66 and 73 AD, the Jewish revolt erupted in Judea, a region long simmering with tension under Roman rule. The revolt was a direct challenge to Roman authority, and the legions sent to suppress it faced a determined and resourceful enemy. This conflict not only tested the strength of Rome's military, but also left some of its legions lost to history, their stories buried beneath the ashes of war. The Jewish revolt began as a rebellion against Roman taxation and religious oppression, but it quickly escalated into a full-scale war. The Jewish forces, led by figures like Simon bar Giora and John of Giscala, employed guerrilla tactics and fortified strongholds to resist the Roman advance. The legions, accustomed to open field battles, found themselves struggling against an enemy that fought on its own terms. The siege of Jerusalem, in particular, became a defining moment of the revolt. Roman legions, under the command of future Emperor Titus, surrounded the city, cutting off supplies and slowly tightening their grip. The fighting was brutal, and the city's fall in 70 AD marked a turning point, but not without significant Roman losses. Among the legions involved in the conflict, some units may have been disbanded or destroyed during the prolonged fighting. The 10th Legion Fretensis, for example, played a central role in the siege of Jerusalem and the subsequent campaigns in Judea. While it survived the revolt, other legions were not as fortunate. The constant skirmishes, ambushes, and sieges took a heavy toll on Roman forces. Some legions, already stretched thin by the demands of the empire, may have been so depleted that they were absorbed into other units or disbanded altogether. The lack of detailed records from this period makes it difficult to trace their exact fates, but the scale of the conflict suggests that losses were substantial. Another factor contributing to the disappearance of these legions was the nature of the revolt itself. The Jewish fighters were deeply committed to their cause, and their knowledge of the local terrain gave them a significant advantage. Roman legions, operating far from their supply lines and in unfamiliar territory, faced constant challenges. The harsh conditions, combined with the relentless resistance, likely led to the dissolution of some units. Additionally, the Roman practice of reorganizing legions after major conflicts may have further obscured their histories. Legions that survived the revolt might have been reassigned to other regions, their identities altered as they were merged with other forces. The Jewish revolt also had a profound impact on the Roman military's approach to future conflicts. The lessons learned from this brutal campaign influenced how Rome dealt with rebellions in other provinces. The destruction of the Second Temple in Jerusalem and the subsequent dispersal of the Jewish people marked the end of the revolt, but the cost to Rome's legions was significant. The legions that fought in Judea were forever changed by the experience, and some may have vanished entirely, their contributions and sacrifices forgotten. As we reflect on the lost legions of the Jewish revolt, we are reminded of the complexities of Rome's military campaigns. These soldiers who marched into a land of fierce resistance faced challenges that tested their endurance and resolve. Their stories, though often overlooked, are a testament to the human cost of maintaining an empire. Next, we'll explore how the Antonine Plague decimated Roman legions, leaving entire units lost to history in its wake. Turning our attention to a different kind of enemy, one that no sword or shield could defeat, we now delve into the devastating impact of the Antonine Plague on the Roman legions. This deadly disease, which swept across the Roman Empire between 165 and 180 AD, was one of the most catastrophic pandemics of the ancient world. Unlike the battles fought on distant frontiers, this was a war waged within the very heart of the empire, claiming countless lives and leaving entire legions decimated in its wake. The Antonine Plague, believed by many historians to have been smallpox or measles, struck at a time when Rome's military was already stretched thin. The legions, often stationed in close quarters and constantly on the move, became breeding grounds for the disease, which spread rapidly among soldiers and civilians alike. The plague first emerged during the Parthian campaign, carried back to Rome by troops returning from the eastern provinces. What began as isolated outbreaks soon turned into a full-blown epidemic, ravaging cities and military camps. The legions, already engaged in conflicts across the empire, found themselves crippled by the disease. Entire units were wiped out, their ranks decimated not by enemy forces but by an invisible foe. The loss of manpower was staggering, with some estimates suggesting that up to one-third of the empire's population perished during the plague's 15-year reign. For the Roman military, this meant not only a shortage of soldiers but also a breakdown in the logistical and organizational structures that kept the legions functioning. The Antonine Plague had a profound impact on Rome's ability to defend its borders. Legions stationed along the frontiers, already vulnerable to attacks from barbarian tribes, were left weakened and understaffed. The disease did not discriminate, claiming the lives of seasoned veterans and new recruits alike. This loss of experienced soldiers was particularly devastating, as it left the legions without the leadership and expertise needed to maintain discipline and effectiveness. In some cases, entire units were disbanded or merged with others, their identities lost as the empire struggled to fill the gaps left by the plague. The psychological toll on the surviving soldiers cannot be overstated. Witnessing the rapid spread of the disease and the deaths of their comrades would have shaken the morale of even the most hardened legionaries. The plague also disrupted supply lines and communication, further hampering the legion's ability to respond to threats. As the disease spread, it became increasingly difficult to maintain the cohesion and readiness of the military, leading to a decline in the overall strength of Rome's armed forces. The Antonine Plague also had long-term consequences for the Roman Empire. The loss of so many soldiers and civilians weakened the empire's economic and military foundations, making it more vulnerable to external threats. The plague's impact on the legions contributed to the gradual decline of Rome's military dominance, setting the stage for the challenges that would arise in the centuries to come. While the exact number of legions lost to the plague remains unknown, it is clear that the disease played a significant role in reshaping the Roman military and, by extension, the course of history. As we reflect on the vanished legions of the Antonine Plague, we are reminded of the fragility of even the mightiest empires. The soldiers who succumbed to the disease may not have fallen in battle, but their loss was no less significant. Their stories, though often overshadowed by tales of conquest and glory, are a testament to the unpredictable forces that shape history. Next, we'll explore the fate of the Legio V. Alordii, a legion that met its end during the Batavian Revolt, another chapter in the saga of Rome's lost legions. Shifting our focus to another chapter of Rome's military history, we now turn to the fate of the Legio V. Alordii, a legion whose story is as tragic as it is mysterious. Known as the Larks for the distinctive crests on their helmets, this legion was one of Rome's most storied units, yet its end came not in a glorious battle but in the chaos of rebellion. The Legio V. Lordi met its demise during the Batavian Revolt, a tumultuous uprising that shook the foundations of the Roman Empire between 69 and 70 AD. The Batavian Revolt was a rebellion led by the Batavi, a Germanic tribe that had long served as allies and auxiliaries to Rome. The Batavi, renowned for their martial prowess, had grown disillusioned with Roman rule, particularly under the oppressive policies of Emperor Nero and the instability that followed his death. When the revolt erupted, it quickly spread across the Rhine frontier, drawing in other disaffected tribes and even some Roman soldiers. The Legio V. Lordi, stationed in the region, found itself at the heart of the conflict. The legion's history was marked by both valor and controversy. Originally raised by Julius Caesar during the Gallic Wars, the Legio V. Lordi had fought in some of Rome's most significant campaigns, including the civil wars that followed Caesar's assassination. Over the centuries, it had earned a reputation as a reliable and battle-hardened unit. However, by the time of the Batavian Revolt, the legion was a shadow of its former self. Years of campaigning, coupled with the political turmoil of the Year of the Four Emperors, had left it weakened and demoralized. When the Batavian leader Gaius Julius Civilis launched his rebellion, the Legio V. Lordi was among the first Roman units to face the brunt of the uprising. The Batavi, familiar with Roman tactics and armed with insider knowledge, launched a series of devastating attacks. The legion, already stretched thin and lacking reinforcements, was ill-prepared to withstand the onslaught. In a series of brutal engagements, the Legio V. Lordi was decimated, its ranks shattered by the ferocity of the Batavi and their allies. The exact circumstances of the legion's annihilation remain shrouded in mystery. Some accounts suggest that the unit was ambushed and wiped out in a single battle, while others indicate that it was gradually worn down over the course of the revolt. What is clear is that by the end of the conflict, the Legio V. Lordi had ceased to exist as a fighting force. Its survivors, if any, were likely absorbed into other units, and its name disappeared from Roman military records. The loss of the Legio V. Lordi was a significant blow to Rome's military prestige. The Batavian Revolt exposed the vulnerabilities of the empire's frontier defenses and highlighted the growing discontent among its subject peoples. For the Roman legions, the revolt was a stark reminder of the dangers posed by internal rebellion, a threat that would continue to plague the empire in the centuries to come. As we reflect on the fate of the Legio V. Lordi, we are reminded of the fragility of even the most formidable military units. The legion's story is a testament to the unpredictable nature of history, where even the mightiest can fall to the forces of rebellion and chaos. Next, we'll explore the lost legions of the Marcomannic Wars, another chapter in the saga of Rome's vanished forces. Turning now to the Marcomannic Wars, we uncover another chapter in the saga of Rome's lost legions. This prolonged and brutal conflict, spanning from 166 to 180 AD, pitted the Roman Empire against a coalition of Germanic tribes led by the Marcomanni. These wars, fought along the Danube frontier, were among the most challenging and costly campaigns in Roman history, and they left an indelible mark on the empire's military. The Marcomannic Wars erupted during the reign of Emperor Marcus Aurelius, a philosopher king who found himself thrust into the role of a warrior. The Germanic tribes, driven by a combination of population pressures and a desire for plunder, launched a series of invasions into Roman territory. The Marcomanni, Quadi, and other tribes crossed the Danube, raiding deep into the provinces of Pannonia and Noricum. The Roman legions stationed along the frontier were caught off guard, and the initial stages of the conflict were marked by chaos and heavy losses. Among the legions that bore the brunt of the fighting were the Legio Roman 14 Gemina and the Legio I Adiutrix, both of which played critical roles in defending the empire's northern borders. These units, along with others, were repeatedly called into action as the war dragged on for over a decade. The prolonged nature of the conflict took a heavy toll on the legions, depleting their ranks through constant battles, harsh conditions, and the spread of disease. One of the most tragic aspects of the Marcomannic Wars was the disappearance of entire units. Some legions, stretched thin by the demands of the campaign, were simply overwhelmed by the relentless attacks of the Germanic tribes. Others may have been disbanded or merged with other units due to heavy casualties. The lack of detailed records from this period makes it difficult to determine the exact fate of these lost legions, but their absence from later Roman military rosters speaks volumes about the devastation they endured. The Marcomannic Wars also highlighted the growing challenges faced by the Roman military. The Germanic tribes, though less organized than the Roman legions, were fierce and determined fighters. They employed guerrilla tactics, ambushing Roman forces and retreating into the dense forests and rugged terrain of their homelands. This style of warfare, combined with the sheer scale of the conflict, tested the limits of Roman endurance and resourcefulness. Despite the heavy losses, the Roman legions ultimately prevailed, thanks in part to the leadership of Marcus Aurelius and the resilience of the soldiers. However, the cost of victory was immense. The Marcomannic Wars drained the empire's resources, weakened its frontier defenses, and foreshadowed the greater challenges that would come in the centuries ahead. For the legions that fought and disappeared in this conflict, their sacrifice was a stark reminder of the price of defending Rome's vast and vulnerable borders. As we reflect on the lost legions of the Marcomannic Wars, we are reminded of the relentless pressures that shaped the fate of the Roman Empire. These wars were not just a struggle for territory, but a battle for survival, one that tested the strength and resolve of Rome's military to its limits. Next, we'll delve into the mystery of the Legio Roman III Gallica, another legion whose story is shrouded in the mists of history. Shifting our focus to the eastern reaches of the Roman Empire, we now turn to the enigmatic fate of the Legio III Gallica. This legion, known for its long and storied service, mysteriously disappears from historical records after the 3rd century AD, leaving behind a trail of questions and speculation. The Legio III Gallica, originally raised by Julius Caesar during the Gallic Wars, had a reputation as a formidable fighting force, earning its place in some of Rome's most significant campaigns. Yet, its sudden absence from the annals of history has puzzled historians for centuries. One theory suggests that the Legio III Gallica may have been disbanded due to heavy losses sustained during the turbulent 3rd century, a period marked by constant warfare and political instability. This era, often referred to as the crisis of the 3rd century, saw the Roman Empire besieged by external invasions, internal revolts, and economic collapse. Legions were frequently called upon to defend multiple fronts, and the strain on their resources and manpower was immense. It's possible that the Legio III Gallica, like many other units, was simply worn down by the relentless demands of this chaotic period. Another possibility is that the legion was destroyed in battle. The 3rd century was a time of frequent clashes with the Sassanid Empire in the east, as well as incursions by Germanic tribes along the northern frontiers. The Legio III Gallica, stationed in the eastern provinces, would have been on the front lines of these conflicts. A catastrophic defeat, perhaps in one of the many battles against the Sassanids, could have led to the legion's annihilation. However, the lack of detailed records from this period makes it difficult to confirm such an event. Some historians propose that the legion may have been absorbed or merged with other units. As the Roman military struggled to maintain its strength, it was not uncommon for depleted legions to be combined to form new, more effective fighting forces. The Legio III Gallica, if severely under strength, might have been folded into another legion, effectively erasing its distinct identity from the historical record. This practice, while practical from a military standpoint, often left little trace of the original units involved. The disappearance of the Legio III Gallica also raises questions about the broader challenges faced by the Roman military during this period. The 3rd century was a time of profound transformation for the empire as traditional structures and institutions began to falter under the weight of external pressures and internal decay. The fate of this legion serves as a microcosm of the larger struggles that would eventually lead to the decline of the Roman Empire. As we piece together the fragments of its history, the story of the Legio III Gallica reminds us of the fragility of even the mightiest institutions. Its disappearance, whether through disbandment, destruction, or absorption, underscores the relentless pressures that shaped the fate of Rome's legions. Next, we'll explore the vanished legions of the Gothic Wars, another chapter in the saga of Rome's lost military might. Turning our attention to the northern frontiers of the Roman Empire, we now explore the fate of the legions that faced the Goths during the tumultuous 3rd century AD. This period, marked by relentless conflict and shifting alliances, saw some of Rome's most formidable military units vanish into the fog of history. The Gothic Wars, a series of brutal clashes between the Roman Empire and the Gothic tribes, were a defining chapter in the empire's struggle to maintain its borders. These wars not only tested the strength of Rome's legions but also revealed the growing vulnerabilities of its military machine. The Goths, a confederation of Germanic tribes, began to pose a significant threat to the Roman Empire in the 3rd century. Their incursions into Roman territory were often swift and devastating, targeting key provinces and disrupting the fragile stability of the frontier regions. The Roman legions stationed along the Danube and Black Sea were tasked with repelling these invasions, but the sheer scale and ferocity of the Gothic attacks often overwhelmed even the most disciplined units. It was during these conflicts that several legions disappeared from the historical record, their fates shrouded in mystery. One such legion was the Legio XI Claudia, a unit with a long history of service in the eastern provinces. Stationed near the Danube frontier, the 11th Claudia was frequently engaged in skirmishes with Gothic raiders. However, by the mid-3rd century, references to this legion abruptly ceased. Historians speculate that the 11th Claudia may have been annihilated in a major battle against the Goths, possibly during one of the large-scale invasions that swept through the region. The lack of detailed records from this chaotic period makes it difficult to pinpoint the exact circumstances of its disappearance, but the legion's absence speaks volumes about the intensity of the Gothic Wars. Another unit that vanished during this time was the Legio I Italica, a legion originally raised by Emperor Nero to bolster Rome's defenses in the east. The First Italica was known for its resilience and had participated in numerous campaigns across the empire. Yet by the late 3rd century, it too disappears from the historical record. Some theories suggest that the legion may have been disbanded after suffering heavy losses in battles against the Goths, while others propose that it was absorbed into other units as part of a broader reorganization of the Roman military. Whatever the case, the disappearance of the First Italica highlights the immense strain placed on Rome's legions during this period. The Gothic Wars also saw the rise of a new kind of warfare, one that tested the limits of Roman military strategy. The Goths, unlike many of Rome's earlier adversaries, were highly mobile and adept at guerrilla tactics. They often avoided direct confrontations with Roman legions, instead launching surprise attacks on vulnerable settlements and supply lines. This unconventional approach forced the Romans to adapt, but not all legions were able to keep pace. The constant pressure of defending vast territories against such a dynamic enemy likely contributed to the loss of several units. The disappearance of these legions during the Gothic Wars underscores the broader challenges faced by the Roman Empire in the 3rd century. As external threats multiplied and internal stability waned, the once mighty legions found themselves stretched thin, struggling to maintain the empire's borders. The fate of these vanished units serves as a poignant reminder of the relentless pressures that ultimately contributed to the decline of Roman military dominance. Next, we'll uncover the mystery of the Legio XXI Rapax, a legion whose story is equally shrouded in intrigue and speculation. Now, let's shift our focus to another enigmatic chapter in the history of Rome's lost legions, the story of the Legio I Germanica. This legion, once a proud and formidable force, met its end not on a distant battlefield, but in the aftermath of a rebellion that shook the foundations of the Roman Empire. The Batavian Revolt, which erupted in the year 69 AD, was a pivotal moment in Roman history, and the Legio I Germanica found itself at the heart of the turmoil. The Legio I Germanica was originally raised by Julius Caesar during the Gallic Wars, a testament to its long and storied history. Over the centuries, it served with distinction in various campaigns, earning a reputation as a reliable and battle-hardened unit. However, its loyalty was put to the ultimate test during the Batavian Revolt, a conflict that pitted Rome against its own allies. The Batavians, a Germanic tribe that had long served as auxiliaries in the Roman army, rose up against their imperial overlords, led by the charismatic rebel leader Gaius Julius Civilis. The revolt quickly spread, drawing in other disaffected tribes and even some Roman legions. The Legio I Germanica, stationed along the Rhine frontier, was among the units caught up in the chaos. As the rebellion gained momentum, the legion found itself in a precarious position. Some of its soldiers, disillusioned with Roman rule, defected to the rebel cause, while others remained loyal to the empire. This internal division weakened the legion's cohesion and effectiveness, leaving it vulnerable to the advancing Batavian forces. In the ensuing battles, the Legio I Germanica suffered heavy losses, and its ability to function as a cohesive fighting force was severely compromised. The final blow came when the Roman general Quintus Petilius Cerealis launched a counteroffensive to crush the rebellion. Although Cerealis ultimately succeeded in restoring order, the Legio I Germanica was deemed too unreliable to continue in service. The legion was disbanded, its remaining soldiers either reassigned to other units or discharged from the army. This marked the end of a once proud legion that had served Rome for over a century. The dissolution of the Legio I Germanica was not just a military decision. It was a reflection of the broader challenges facing the Roman Empire at the time. The Batavian Revolt exposed the fragility of Rome's hold on its frontier provinces and the potential for internal dissent to undermine its military strength. The fate of the Legio I Germanica serves as a stark reminder of the complexities of loyalty and the high stakes of rebellion in the ancient world. As we move forward, we'll delve into the story of the Legio XXI Rapax, another legion whose history is steeped in mystery and intrigue. What led to its downfall, and how does its story fit into the larger narrative of Rome's lost legions? Stay with us as we uncover the next chapter in this fascinating journey through history. Now, let's turn our attention to the eastern frontier of the Roman Empire, where the sands of history have buried the stories of legions sent to confront one of Rome's most formidable adversaries, the Parthian Empire. The Parthian campaigns were a series of grueling and often disastrous military expeditions that stretched the Roman legions to their limits. These campaigns, fought in the harsh deserts and rugged mountains of the Near East, were marked by fierce battles, logistical nightmares, and the mysterious disappearance of entire units. The Parthian Empire, centered in modern-day Iran, was a powerful rival to Rome, known for its skilled cavalry and mastery of hit-and-run tactics. Roman generals, eager to expand the empire's influence and secure its eastern borders, launched multiple campaigns into Parthian territory. However, these expeditions were fraught with challenges. The vast distances, unforgiving terrain, and the Parthians' ability to strike and retreat quickly made it nearly impossible for the Romans to achieve decisive victories. Many legions sent to the east never returned, their fates lost to time. One of the most infamous episodes in these campaigns was the Battle of Carrhae in 53 BC, where the Roman general Crassus led an ill-fated expedition into Parthian territory. Crassus's legions, unprepared for the Parthians' tactics, were decimated in the desert. Thousands of Roman soldiers were killed and thousands more were captured, never to be seen again. While Crassus's defeat is well documented, the fate of many other legions sent to the Parthian front remains shrouded in mystery. Some units may have been annihilated in battles that were never recorded, while others could have been absorbed into the Parthian military or local populations, vanishing from Roman records entirely. The lack of detailed historical accounts from this region adds to the intrigue. Unlike the well-documented campaigns in Europe, the Parthian frontier was a distant and poorly understood part of the Roman world. Records from the time are sparse, and much of what we know comes from fragmented sources or later accounts. This has left historians with more questions than answers about the legions that disappeared during these campaigns. Were they wiped out in forgotten battles? Did they desert and settle in the east? Or were they simply lost to the passage of time, their stories erased by the shifting sands of history? The Parthian campaigns highlight the immense challenges Rome faced in maintaining its vast empire. The legions sent to the east were often far from home, operating in unfamiliar and hostile environments. Their disappearances serve as a reminder of the high cost of imperial ambition and the limits of Roman power. As we continue our exploration of Rome's lost legions, we'll uncover more stories of bravery, tragedy, and mystery. Next, we'll delve into the chaos of the crisis of the 3rd century, where the empire's fragmentation led to the loss of even more legions. Stay with us as we unravel these captivating tales of history's forgotten warriors. As we move forward in our journey through the lost legions of Rome, we now step into one of the most turbulent periods in the empire's history, the crisis of the 3rd century. This was a time of profound instability, marked by civil wars, economic collapse, and relentless barbarian invasions. The Roman Empire, once a beacon of order and power, teetered on the brink of disintegration, and its legions bore the brunt of this chaos. Many of these units tasked with defending the empire's vast borders simply vanished, their fates swallowed by the turmoil of the age. The crisis of the 3rd century began around 235 AD and lasted for nearly 50 years. During this time, the empire was plagued by a series of weak and short-lived emperors, frequent usurpations, and widespread corruption. The legions, once the backbone of Roman military might, found themselves stretched thin, fighting on multiple fronts against both internal rebels and external enemies. The constant infighting among rival claimants to the throne further weakened the military, as legions were often pitted against each other in brutal civil wars. Entire units were wiped out in these conflicts, their names erased from history. One of the most significant challenges during this period was the relentless pressure from barbarian tribes along the empire's frontiers. Germanic tribes such as the Goths and the Alemanni launched repeated invasions across the Rhine and Danube rivers, while the Sassanid Empire in the east posed a constant threat. The legions stationed along these borders were often overwhelmed, unable to hold back the tide of invaders. Some units were annihilated in battle, while others may have deserted or disbanded, their soldiers melting away into the local populations. The lack of reliable records from this chaotic era makes it difficult to determine the exact fate of many legions, adding to the mystery surrounding their disappearance. The economic collapse of the empire during this period also played a role in the loss of legions. With the Roman economy in shambles, funding for the military dried up, leaving soldiers unpaid and poorly equipped. This led to widespread discontent and desertion, further weakening the legions. Some units may have simply dissolved as their soldiers abandoned their posts in search of better opportunities or survival. The combination of military defeats, internal strife, and economic hardship created a perfect storm that swept away many of Rome's once mighty legions. Despite the chaos, the crisis of the 3rd century also saw the rise of remarkable leaders who managed to temporarily restore order. Emperors like Aurelian and Diocletian implemented sweeping reforms that stabilized the empire and reorganized its military. However, by the time these reforms took effect, many legions had already been lost, their stories buried beneath the weight of history. The crisis of the 3rd century serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of even the greatest empires and the high cost of maintaining them. As we continue to explore the mysteries of Rome's lost legions, we'll next turn our attention to the Legio II Augusta, a unit that played a crucial role in the conquest of Britain, but vanished from records in the 4th century AD. Stay with us as we uncover more tales of bravery, tragedy, and the enduring enigma of Rome's forgotten warriors. Now, let's shift our focus to the Legio II Augusta, a legion whose story is deeply intertwined with the Roman conquest of Britain. This unit, known for its discipline and valor, played a pivotal role in expanding Rome's reach into the rugged landscapes of ancient Britain. Yet, despite its significant contributions, the Legio II Augusta mysteriously disappears from historical records by the 4th century AD, leaving behind a trail of questions about its ultimate fate. The Legio II Augusta was one of the original legions raised by Emperor Augustus around 27 BC, making it one of the oldest and most respected units in the Roman army. It earned its reputation during the early years of the empire, participating in campaigns across Europe and earning honors for its service. However, its most famous chapter unfolded during the invasion of Britain in 43 AD, led by Emperor Claudius. The legion was instrumental in securing key victories, including the capture of the strategic stronghold of Camulogenum, modern-day Colchester. This victory marked the beginning of Roman dominance in southern Britain and solidified the legion's place in history. For centuries, the Legio II Augusta remained a cornerstone of Roman military presence in Britain. It was stationed at various forts, including Isca Augusta, modern-day Caerleon in Wales, where it helped maintain order and defend the province against local uprisings. The legion's soldiers were not just warriors but also builders, contributing to the construction of roads, fortifications, and settlements that shaped the Romanization of Britain. Their legacy is still visible in the archaeological remains scattered across the region. Yet, as the Roman Empire began to decline, so too did the fortunes of the Legio II Augusta. By the 4th century AD, the legion vanishes from historical records, leaving historians to speculate about its fate. One theory suggests that the unit was disbanded or absorbed into other legions as part of broader military reforms during the late Roman Empire. Another possibility is that the legion was decimated in battle during one of the many conflicts that plagued Britain in this period, such as raids by Picts, Scots, or Saxon invaders. The lack of detailed records from this era makes it difficult to determine the exact circumstances of its disappearance. Adding to the mystery is the absence of any definitive archaeological evidence pointing to the legion's final days. While artifacts and inscriptions linked to the Legio II Augusta have been found at sites like Caerleon, there is no clear indication of how or when the unit ceased to exist. This silence in the historical record has fueled speculation and debate among historians, who continue to search for clues about the legion's ultimate fate. The story of the Legio II Augusta is a testament to the enduring legacy of Rome's military might and the challenges it faced in maintaining its vast empire. As we move forward, we'll explore another enigmatic chapter in the history of Rome's lost legions, the Legio XV Apollinaris, a unit that served in the eastern provinces but vanished from records in the 3rd century AD. Stay with us as we uncover more tales of bravery, mystery, and the shadows of history. Now, let's turn our attention to the Roman-Persian Wars, a centuries-long struggle that tested the limits of Rome's military might. This epic conflict, spanning from the 1st century BC to the 7th century AD, pitted the Roman Empire against the powerful Persian Empire, a rivalry that shaped the course of history in the ancient world. Amidst the vast battlefields and shifting alliances, several Roman legions were lost, their fates swallowed by the chaos of war. The Roman-Persian Wars were marked by a series of brutal campaigns, sieges, and skirmishes, as both empires vied for control of key territories in the Middle East. These conflicts were not just about land but also about prestige, as Rome and Persia sought to assert their dominance over one another. For the Roman legions sent to fight in these distant and unforgiving lands, the challenges were immense. The harsh terrain, extreme weather, and relentless Persian resistance took a heavy toll on even the most seasoned soldiers. One of the most notable legions lost during these wars was the Legio X Fretensis, a unit renowned for its role in the Jewish revolt. After its service in Judea, the legion was redeployed to the eastern frontier, where it faced the might of the Persian armies. Historical records suggest that the Legio X Fretensis was involved in several key battles, including the disastrous campaign led by Emperor Julian in 363 AD. Julian's invasion of Persia ended in catastrophe, with the emperor himself killed in battle and the Roman forces forced into a humiliating retreat. It is believed that the Legio X Fretensis suffered heavy casualties during this campaign, and its remnants may have been absorbed into other units or disbanded altogether. Another legion that met a mysterious end during the Roman-Persian Wars was the Legio XII Fulminata, known as the Thunderbolt Legion. This unit, which had a long and storied history, was stationed in the eastern provinces for much of its existence. It played a crucial role in defending Rome's eastern frontier, but by the 3rd century AD, the legion vanishes from historical records. Some historians speculate that it was destroyed in battle against the Sassanid Empire, the successors to the Persian Empire, while others suggest it may have been disbanded due to heavy losses or internal reforms. The Roman-Persian Wars were not just a clash of empires but also a crucible that tested the endurance and resilience of the Roman legions. The legions that fought in these campaigns faced not only the enemy but also the logistical nightmares of supplying troops across vast distances, the psychological strain of prolonged warfare, and the ever-present threat of disease and desertion. For some units, the cost was simply too high, and they disappeared into the annals of history, their stories left untold. As we continue our journey through the mysteries of Rome's lost legions, we'll next explore the fate of the Legio XIX, a unit that vanished during the tumultuous years of the Roman civil wars. Stay with us as we uncover more tales of valor, tragedy, and the enduring enigma of Rome's military past. Shifting our focus to the turbulent era of the Roman civil wars, we uncover another layer of mystery surrounding the legions that vanished amidst the chaos of internal strife. These conflicts, which tore the Roman Republic and later the Empire apart, were not just battles for power but also moments of profound transformation for Rome's military. The legions that fought in these wars were often caught in the crossfire of political ambition, their fates tied to the fortunes of their commanders. One of the most dramatic chapters in this saga unfolded during the civil war between Julius Caesar and Pompey the Great in the 1st century BC. This conflict, which began in 49 BC, pitted two of Rome's most formidable leaders against each other, with legions on both sides suffering heavy losses. The Battle of Pharsalus in 48 BC was a turning point where Caesar's forces decisively defeated Pompey's army. However, the aftermath of this battle saw the disintegration of several legions loyal to Pompey, their soldiers either absorbed into Caesar's ranks or scattered across the Roman world. Among the legions that disappeared during this period was the Legio I, a unit that had fought under Pompey's command. After the defeat at Pharsalus, the legion's fate becomes unclear. Some historians suggest that its soldiers were disbanded or integrated into other units, while others believe they may have deserted, unwilling to continue fighting in a war that had already claimed so many lives. The Legio I's disappearance is emblematic of the broader instability that plagued Rome during this time, as legions were often raised and disbanded at the whim of their commanders. The civil wars did not end with Caesar's victory over Pompey. Following Caesar's assassination in 44 BC, Rome was plunged into another series of conflicts, culminating in the rise of Augustus as the first Roman emperor. During this period, the Legio XIX, a unit that had fought under Mark Antony, vanished from historical records. Antony's defeat at the Battle of Actium in 31 BC marked the end of his ambitions, and the legions under his command were either disbanded or absorbed into Augustus's army. The Legio XIX, however, seems to have disappeared entirely, leaving no trace of its final fate. The Roman civil wars were a time of immense upheaval, not just for the political landscape of Rome but also for its military. Legions that had once been symbols of Roman power and discipline were now tools of personal ambition, their loyalties shifting with the tides of war. For many of these units, the civil wars marked the end of their existence, their stories lost in the fog of history. As we move forward, we'll explore another chapter in the saga of Rome's lost legions, turning our attention to the Legio XX, a unit that played a crucial role in the conquest of Britain but met an uncertain end. Stay with us as we continue to unravel the mysteries of these vanished forces, piecing together the fragments of their forgotten histories. Now, let's journey to the eastern frontiers of the Roman Empire, where the Legio VI Ferrata, known as the Ironclad Legion, once stood as a formidable force. Stationed in the eastern provinces, this legion played a crucial role in maintaining Roman authority in regions like Judea and Syria. However, by the 3rd century AD, the Legio VI Ferrata mysteriously vanished from historical records, leaving behind a trail of questions about its ultimate fate. The Legio VI Ferrata had a storied history dating back to its formation under Julius Caesar during the Gallic Wars. It earned its nickname, Ferrata, meaning ironclad, for its reputation as a heavily armored and disciplined unit. Over the centuries, the legion was deployed to some of the empire's most volatile regions, including the Jewish revolt in the 1st century AD, where it helped quell rebellions and secure Roman control. By the 3rd century AD, the Roman Empire was facing mounting pressures on its eastern borders. Conflicts with the Parthian Empire and later the Sassanid Empire strained the empire's military resources. The Legio VI Ferrata, stationed in the eastern provinces, would have been on the front lines of these struggles. Yet, despite its long and distinguished service, the legion disappears from historical records around this time, leaving historians to speculate about its fate. One theory suggests that the Legio VI Ferrata may have been destroyed in battle during one of the many clashes with the Sassanid Empire. The Sassanids, a powerful Persian dynasty, were known for their formidable military tactics and could have overwhelmed the legion in a decisive engagement. Another possibility is that the legion was disbanded or merged with other units as part of broader military reforms during the crisis of the 3rd century, a period marked by political instability and frequent changes in leadership. Some historians have also proposed that the legion may have been relocated to another part of the empire, only to be absorbed into a different unit or gradually fade into obscurity. The lack of detailed records from this turbulent period makes it difficult to determine the exact circumstances of the legion's disappearance. What is clear, however, is that the Legio VI Ferrata's vanishing act is emblematic of the challenges faced by the Roman military during this era of decline and upheaval. As we piece together the fragments of this legion's history, we're reminded of the broader story of Rome's eastern frontier, a region where legions like the 6th Ferrata stood as guardians of the empire only to be swallowed by the tides of time. Their disappearance serves as a poignant reminder of the fragility of even the mightiest military forces. Next, we'll turn our attention to the Legio XXI Rapax, a legion whose story is intertwined with rebellion and the shifting loyalties of Rome's legions. Stay with us as we continue to uncover the mysteries of these lost forces, each with its own tale of triumph and tragedy. Now, let's venture north to the rugged landscapes of Caledonia, modern-day Scotland, where the Roman legions faced some of their most daunting challenges. The Roman campaigns in this region were marked by fierce resistance from local tribes, unforgiving terrain, and a style of warfare that tested even the most seasoned soldiers. Among the legions sent to conquer Caledonia, several units met fates that remain shrouded in mystery, their stories lost to the mists of time. The Roman invasion of Caledonia began in earnest during the reign of Emperor Antoninus Pius in the 2nd century AD. The legions tasked with this mission, including the Legio II Augusta and the Legio XX Valeria Victrix, were among Rome's most experienced forces. Their goal was to extend Roman control beyond the existing frontier, securing the fertile lands and strategic advantages of the region. However, the Caledonian tribes, led by warriors like Calgacus, proved to be formidable opponents. The terrain itself was a relentless adversary. Dense forests, steep hills, and marshy bogs made movement difficult for the heavily armored Roman soldiers. The Caledonians, on the other hand, were masters of guerrilla warfare, using their intimate knowledge of the land to launch ambushes and disappear into the wilderness. These tactics forced the legions to adapt, but not without significant losses. Some units, stretched thin and isolated in hostile territory, simply vanished, their fates unknown. One of the most infamous episodes of this campaign was the Battle of Mons Gropius, fought around 83 AD. The Roman general Agricola led his forces against the Caledonian tribes in a decisive clash. While the Romans claimed victory, the battle took a heavy toll on both sides. Some historians speculate that entire cohorts may have been lost during the chaotic fighting or in the aftermath as they pursued fleeing enemies into treacherous terrain. The Roman presence in Caledonia was never fully consolidated. Despite the construction of fortifications like the Antonine Wall, the legions struggled to maintain control over the region. By the early 3rd century AD, the Romans had largely withdrawn to the more defensible Hadrian's Wall, leaving behind a legacy of abandoned outposts and unanswered questions. What happened to the legions that remained in Caledonia? Were they absorbed into local populations, destroyed in skirmishes, or simply disbanded as the empire's priorities shifted? The story of the lost legions of Caledonia is a testament to the limits of Roman power. Even the mightiest empire could be humbled by the resilience of determined people and the unforgiving forces of nature. As we reflect on these campaigns, we're reminded that history is often shaped not just by the victors, but by those who resisted and endured. Next, we'll turn our attention to the Roman African campaigns, where legions faced a different set of challenges in the deserts and savannas of North Africa. Stay with us as we continue to uncover the mysteries of Rome's lost legions, each with its own tale of struggle and survival. Now, let's journey to the sun-scorched landscapes of North Africa, where the Roman legions faced a vastly different kind of adversary. Unlike the dense forests and rugged hills of Caledonia, the deserts and savannas of North Africa presented their own unique challenges. Here, the legions were tasked with securing Rome's interests in a region rich in resources but fiercely defended by local tribes and kingdoms. Among these campaigns, several legions met fates that remain as mysterious as the shifting sands of the Sahara. The Roman African campaigns began as early as the 2nd century BC, with the empire seeking to expand its influence across the Mediterranean. Legions like the Legio III Augusta were stationed in North Africa to protect Roman settlements, maintain trade routes, and suppress rebellions. However, the vast and unforgiving terrain, combined with the resilience of local tribes such as the Garamantes and the Numidians, made these campaigns far from straightforward. One of the most significant challenges the legions faced was the harsh environment. The desert heat, lack of water, and vast distances between settlements tested the endurance of even the most disciplined soldiers. Supply lines were often stretched thin, leaving units vulnerable to ambushes by nomadic tribes who knew the land intimately. These tribes, skilled in hit-and-run tactics, could strike swiftly and disappear into the desert, leaving the Romans struggling to respond. The conflict with the Garamantes, a powerful Berber kingdom, stands out as a particularly grueling chapter in Rome's African campaigns. Known for their mastery of desert warfare, the Garamantes used their knowledge of oases and hidden routes to outmaneuver the legions. Some Roman units sent deep into the desert to pursue these elusive enemies simply vanished without a trace. Were they overwhelmed in battle, lost to the elements, or absorbed into local populations? The answers remain buried beneath the sands of time. Another notable episode was the Roman campaign against the Numidian king Jugurtha in the late 2nd century BC. The war, known as the Jugurthine War, saw Roman legions battling not only a cunning enemy but also the challenges of unfamiliar terrain. While Rome ultimately emerged victorious, the campaign took a heavy toll on its forces. Some legions, dispatched to remote outposts or tasked with patrolling vast stretches of land, disappeared from historical records, their fates left to speculation. By the 3rd century AD, as the Roman Empire began to weaken, its hold on North Africa grew increasingly tenuous. Local rebellions, combined with pressure from external forces, led to the gradual withdrawal of Roman legions from the region. Some units were recalled to defend the empire's heartland, while others simply faded from history, their stories lost in the chaos of a crumbling empire. The vanished legions of the Roman African campaigns remind us that even the mightiest armies could be humbled by the forces of nature and the determination of those who called these lands home. Their stories, though shrouded in mystery, offer a glimpse into the complexities of Rome's imperial ambitions and the resilience of the people who resisted them. Next, we'll explore the mystery of the Legio VII Claudia, a legion that served Rome for centuries before vanishing from the historical record. Join us as we continue to unravel the tales of Rome's lost legions, each a piece of the puzzle in understanding the rise and fall of one of history's greatest empires. Turning our attention to the eastern provinces of the Roman Empire, we encounter the enigmatic story of the Legio VII Claudia. This legion, known for its long and distinguished service, played a crucial role in defending Rome's eastern frontiers for centuries. Yet, like so many others, it eventually disappeared from historical records, leaving behind a trail of questions about its ultimate fate. The Legio VII Claudia was originally raised by Julius Caesar during his campaigns in Gaul in the mid-1st century BC. It earned its name, Claudia, after the Emperor Claudius, who reorganized and honored the legion for its loyalty during a period of political turmoil. Over the centuries, the legion was stationed in various parts of the empire, from the Danube frontier to the eastern provinces, where it faced threats from Parthian and Persian forces. One of the legion's most notable achievements was its role in the Dacian Wars under Emperor Trajan in the early 2nd century AD. The Legio VII Claudia fought bravely in these campaigns, helping to secure Rome's control over the region of modern-day Romania. Its soldiers were known for their discipline and resilience, qualities that made them a formidable force on the battlefield. However, as the Roman Empire entered its later years, the Legio VII Claudia began to fade from prominence. The 3rd century AD was a time of great upheaval for Rome, marked by civil wars, barbarian invasions, and economic decline. Legions stationed in the eastern provinces faced constant pressure from external enemies, as well as internal challenges such as supply shortages and declining morale. The last definitive mention of the Legio VII Claudia comes from the late 3rd century AD during the reign of Emperor Diocletian. After this point, the legion vanishes from historical records. What happened to this once proud unit? Some historians suggest that it may have been disbanded due to heavy losses in battle or as part of broader military reforms. Others speculate that it was absorbed into other legions or simply dissolved as the empire's resources dwindled. Another intriguing possibility is that the legion was relocated to a different part of the empire, only to be lost in the chaos of the late Roman period. With the empire fragmenting and records becoming increasingly scarce, it's possible that the Legio VII Claudia continued to serve in some capacity, its story obscured by the passage of time. The mystery of the Legio VII Claudia serves as a reminder of the challenges faced by Rome's legions in the empire's twilight years. Even the most storied units could not escape the tides of history, their fates often left to speculation. As we continue our exploration of Rome's lost legions, we'll next uncover the story of the Legio XXI Rapax, a legion whose dramatic end marked the close of an era. Stay with us as we delve deeper into the shadows of history, piecing together the tales of these vanished forces. As we shift our focus to the eastern frontier of the Roman Empire, we encounter the intense and often overlooked conflicts between Rome and the Sassanid Empire. These wars, spanning centuries, were marked by fierce battles, shifting alliances, and the eventual disappearance of several Roman legions. The Sassanid Empire, a powerful Persian dynasty, posed one of the greatest threats to Rome's eastern territories, and the legions stationed there faced some of the most grueling challenges in Roman military history. The Roman-Sassanid Wars began in the 3rd century AD and continued intermittently for hundreds of years. These conflicts were not just about territorial control, but also about prestige and dominance in the ancient world. The Sassanids, with their highly organized military and skilled cavalry, proved to be formidable opponents. Roman legions sent to the eastern frontier often found themselves outmatched in mobility and tactics, leading to devastating losses. One of the most significant battles of these wars was the Battle of Edessa in 260 AD. During this engagement, the Roman Emperor Valerian led a massive force against the Sassanid king Shapur I. However, the campaign ended in disaster. Valerian's army was surrounded, and the emperor himself was captured, a humiliating blow to Roman prestige. The legions involved in this battle suffered heavy casualties, and some units were completely wiped out, their fates lost to history. Another critical moment came during the reign of Emperor Julian in the mid-4th century AD. Julian, known as the Apostate, launched a massive invasion of Sassanid territory in 363 AD. Despite initial successes, the campaign ended in tragedy when Julian was mortally wounded in battle. The legions under his command were forced into a chaotic retreat, and many soldiers perished during the withdrawal. Some units were so decimated that they were never reconstituted, vanishing from the records entirely. The prolonged nature of the Roman-Sassanid Wars took a heavy toll on the legions stationed in the east. Constant warfare, coupled with the logistical challenges of maintaining supply lines across vast distances, led to declining morale and manpower shortages. Some legions were likely disbanded or merged with other units to compensate for their losses. Others may have been absorbed into local forces or simply faded away as the empire's resources dwindled. The mystery of these lost legions is further complicated by the lack of detailed records from this period. The chaos of the late Roman Empire, combined with the destruction of archives during invasions and civil wars, has left historians with only fragments of information. What we do know is that the legions that fought against the Sassanids were among the most resilient and battle-hardened in Roman history. Yet, even they could not withstand the relentless pressure of centuries of conflict. As we reflect on the fate of these legions, we are reminded of the immense challenges faced by Rome's soldiers on the eastern frontier. Their stories, though often obscured by time, are a testament to the enduring struggle for power and survival in the ancient world. Next, we'll turn our attention to the Legio XXI Rapax, a legion whose dramatic end marked a turning point in Roman military history. Stay with us as we continue to uncover the mysteries of Rome's lost legions. As we now turn our attention to the western frontiers of the Roman Empire, we enter a period of relentless conflict and upheaval. The Roman barbarian wars, spanning the 3rd to 5th centuries AD, marked a time when the empire faced some of its most formidable adversaries, tribes like the Goths, Vandals, and Huns. These wars not only reshaped the map of Europe but also led to the mysterious disappearance of several Roman legions, their fates swallowed by the chaos of battle and the collapse of imperial authority. The Goths, one of the most prominent barbarian groups, first clashed with Rome in the late 3rd century AD. Their incursions into Roman territory were relentless, culminating in the catastrophic Battle of Adrianople in 378 AD. Here, the Eastern Roman Emperor Valens led his legions against the Goths, only to suffer a devastating defeat. Valens himself was killed, and the legions under his command were annihilated. This battle marked a turning point as it demonstrated the growing power of barbarian tribes and the vulnerability of Roman forces. Further west, the Vandals emerged as a significant threat during the 5th century AD. Known for their destructive raids, they swept through Gaul and Spain before crossing into North Africa. In 429 AD, they captured Carthage, a vital Roman province. The legions stationed there were either destroyed or absorbed into the Vandal forces, their identities lost as the empire struggled to maintain control. The fall of Carthage was a severe blow to Rome's ability to project power, and the legions that once defended it vanished from history. Perhaps the most feared of all were the Huns, led by the infamous Attila. Their rapid and brutal invasions in the mid-5th century AD brought terror to both the Roman Empire and its barbarian neighbors. The Battle of the Catalaunian Plains in 451 AD saw a coalition of Roman and allied forces attempt to halt Attila's advance. While the battle ended in a stalemate, the legions involved suffered heavy losses. Some units were so depleted that they were never reformed, disappearing into the annals of history. The Roman barbarian wars were not just a series of military conflicts, but a reflection of the empire's gradual decline. As barbarian tribes grew stronger and more organized, the legions tasked with defending Rome's borders found themselves increasingly outmatched. Supply lines were stretched thin, morale plummeted, and the constant strain of warfare led to the disintegration of entire units. Some legions were disbanded due to heavy casualties, while others may have deserted or integrated into local populations. The lack of detailed records from this turbulent period adds to the mystery surrounding these lost legions. The collapse of centralized authority, coupled with the destruction of archives during invasions, has left historians with only fragments of information. What remains clear, however, is that the legions that fought against the Goths, Vandals, and Huns were among the last defenders of a crumbling empire. Their disappearance marks not just the end of individual units but the fading of Rome's military might. As we reflect on these vanished legions, we are reminded of the immense challenges faced by Rome in its final centuries. The Roman barbarian wars were a testament to the resilience of both the empire and its adversaries, a struggle that ultimately reshaped the course of European history. Next, we'll explore the fate of the Legio 26th Rapax, a legion whose dramatic end marked a pivotal moment in the empire's decline. Stay with us as we continue to uncover the mysteries of Rome's lost legions. Turning now to the eastern reaches of the Roman Empire, we encounter the enigmatic story of the Legio X Fretensis, a legion whose name is etched into the annals of history for its pivotal role in one of Rome's most brutal conflicts, the Jewish Revolt. Known as one of the empire's most formidable fighting forces, the 10th Fretensis was instrumental in crushing the rebellion, but its ultimate fate remains shrouded in mystery, vanishing from historical records by the 4th century AD. The 10th Fretensis first rose to prominence during the Jewish Revolt, which erupted in 66 AD. Stationed in Syria at the time, the legion was called upon to suppress the uprising, a task that would define its legacy. Under the command of the future Emperor Vespasian and later his son Titus, the 10th Fretensis played a central role in the siege of Jerusalem in 70 AD. The city's fall was catastrophic, with the destruction of the Second Temple and the deaths of countless inhabitants. The legion's ruthless efficiency during this campaign earned it a fearsome reputation, but it also marked the beginning of its long and complex history. Following the revolt, the 10th Fretensis was stationed in Judea, where it became a permanent fixture of the Roman military presence in the region. For centuries, it served as a bulwark against local unrest and external threats, maintaining order in one of the empire's most volatile provinces. Archaeological evidence, such as inscriptions and military diplomas, attests to the legion's enduring presence, with records showing it was still active as late as the 3rd century AD. Yet, by the 4th century, the 10th Fretensis disappears from the historical record, leaving historians to speculate about its fate. One theory suggests that the legion was disbanded during the military reforms of the late Roman Empire. As the empire faced increasing pressure from barbarian invasions and internal strife, many legions were restructured or dissolved to create more flexible and cost-effective units. The 10th Fretensis, with its long history and established traditions, may have been deemed too cumbersome for the changing demands of warfare. Another possibility is that the legion was destroyed in battle, though no specific records of such an event exist. The 4th century was a time of great upheaval, with the empire's eastern provinces frequently targeted by Persian forces and other adversaries. If the 10th Fretensis met its end in one of these conflicts, its disappearance could have been overshadowed by the broader chaos of the era. A more intriguing theory proposes that the legion was absorbed into local populations or other military units. Over time, the identities of individual legions often blurred, especially as the Roman military evolved into a more decentralized force. The 10th Fretensis, with its deep roots in Judea, may have gradually faded into obscurity as its soldiers integrated into the communities they once policed. The mystery of the 10th Fretensis is emblematic of the broader challenges historians face when piecing together the fate of Rome's legions. The lack of detailed records from the late Roman period, combined with the empire's fragmentation, has left many questions unanswered. What is certain, however, is that the 10th Fretensis left an indelible mark on history, from its pivotal role in the Jewish revolt to its centuries-long presence in Judea. As we ponder the fate of this once mighty legion, we are reminded of the transient nature of power and the inevitable passage of time. The 10th Fretensis, like so many other legions, was a product of its era, shaped by the demands of empire and the tides of history. Next, we'll delve into the story of the Legio 27th Rapax, a legion whose dramatic end marked a pivotal moment in the empire's decline. Stay with us as we continue to uncover the mysteries of Rome's lost legions. Shifting our focus to the northern frontiers of the Roman Empire, we now turn to the dramatic conquest of Dacia under Emperor Trajan, a campaign that showcased the might of Rome but also claimed the lives of countless soldiers, including entire legions whose fates remain shrouded in mystery. The Dacian Wars, fought between 101 and 106 AD, were among the most ambitious military endeavors of the Roman Empire, and the legions that marched into the rugged Carpathian mountains faced not only a determined enemy but also the harsh realities of war in unfamiliar terrain. At the heart of this campaign was Trajan's determination to subdue the Dacian kingdom, led by the formidable King Decebalus. The Dacians were a fierce and resourceful people, known for their fortified strongholds and guerrilla tactics. To conquer them, Trajan mobilized a massive force, including several legions renowned for their discipline and combat prowess. Among these were the Legio IV Flavia Felix, the Legio X Gemina, and the Legio XIII Gemina, all of which played critical roles in the campaign. Yet, despite their strength, the legions faced staggering losses, with some units vanishing from the historical record entirely. The First Dacian War, launched in 101 AD, was a grueling conflict. The legions had to navigate treacherous mountain passes, endure harsh weather, and contend with Dacian ambushes. While Trajan's forces ultimately prevailed, the cost was immense. Entire cohorts were wiped out in battles such as the siege of Sarmize Getusa Regia, the Dacian capital where the defenders fought with desperate ferocity. The Second War, beginning in 105 AD, saw even greater bloodshed as the Romans sought to crush Decebalus once and for all. By the war's end, Dacia was annexed as a Roman province, but the victory came at a heavy price. One of the most intriguing mysteries of the Dacian Wars is the fate of certain legions that were heavily involved in the campaign, but later disappeared from historical records. For example, the Legio 22nd Teutoburg, which had been stationed in Egypt before being redeployed to Dacia, is last mentioned during this period. Some historians speculate that the legion was decimated in battle, while others suggest it may have been disbanded due to heavy casualties. Similarly, the Legio V Macedonica, which played a key role in the conquest, suffered significant losses, though it managed to survive and continue its service elsewhere. The rugged terrain of Dacia also posed logistical challenges that may have contributed to the loss of entire units. Supply lines were often stretched thin, and the legions were vulnerable to ambushes as they traversed narrow mountain passes. Disease and exhaustion further weakened the troops, making them easy targets for Dacian forces. In some cases, entire detachments may have been cut off and annihilated, their fates lost to history. The conquest of Dacia was a testament to Roman military might, but it also highlighted the fragility of even the empire's most formidable legions. The campaign's success came at a tremendous cost, and the disappearance of certain units serves as a poignant reminder of the human toll of empire building. As we reflect on the legions lost during this pivotal chapter of Roman history, we are reminded of the sacrifices made in the name of conquest and the enduring mysteries that continue to captivate historians. Next, we'll explore the story of the Legio 22nd Teutoburg, a legion whose disappearance during the Bar Kokhba revolt adds another layer of intrigue to the saga of Rome's lost legions. Stay with us as we uncover more tales of these vanished forces. Now, let's journey to the sands of Egypt, where the Roman Empire's presence was both a symbol of power and a source of constant tension. Egypt, often referred to as the breadbasket of Rome, was a vital province, supplying grain to feed the empire's vast population. Yet, this strategic importance also made it a hotspot for conflict, both from within and without. The legions stationed here faced not only the challenges of maintaining order in a restive province, but also the threat of external invasions, leading to the mysterious disappearance of several units. One of the most notable legions in Egypt was the Legio 22nd Teutoburg, which we've already touched upon in the context of the Dacian Wars. After its redeployment from Dacia, this legion found itself stationed in Egypt, where it played a crucial role in maintaining Roman control. However, its presence in Egypt was far from peaceful. The province was a hotbed of internal revolts, often fueled by religious and cultural tensions between the Roman occupiers and the local population. The Jewish revolt of 115 to 117 AD, for instance, saw widespread unrest across Egypt, and the Legio 22nd Teutoburg was likely involved in suppressing these uprisings. Yet, after this period, the legion vanishes from historical records, leaving historians to speculate about its fate. Some believe it was destroyed in battle, while others suggest it may have been disbanded due to heavy losses or internal dissent. Another legion that met a mysterious end in Egypt was the Legio III Cyrenaica. Originally stationed in the eastern provinces, this legion was transferred to Egypt to bolster Roman forces during a time of increasing instability. The Third Cyrenaica played a key role in defending Egypt's borders, particularly against incursions from the Parthian Empire and nomadic tribes from the south. However, by the late 2nd century AD, this legion too disappears from the historical record. Some theories propose that it was annihilated during a major battle, while others argue that it may have been absorbed into other units or disbanded due to logistical challenges. The harsh environment of Egypt also took its toll on the legions stationed there. The relentless heat, arid landscapes, and frequent sandstorms made life difficult for Roman soldiers, many of whom were unaccustomed to such conditions. Disease was another constant threat, with outbreaks of plague and other illnesses decimating entire units. Supply lines were often stretched thin, and the legions relied heavily on the Nile for transportation and resources. Any disruption to these supply routes could spell disaster, leaving legions vulnerable to attack or starvation. External threats further complicated the situation. Egypt's strategic location made it a target for invasions from neighboring powers, such as the Parthians and later the Sassanids. These conflicts often required the redeployment of legions from other provinces, leaving Egypt's defenses weakened. In some cases, entire legions may have been wiped out during these invasions, their fates lost to history. The lack of detailed records from this period only adds to the mystery, leaving us to piece together the stories of these vanished forces from scattered accounts and archaeological evidence. The Roman-Egyptian conflicts serve as a stark reminder of the challenges faced by the legions stationed in this vital but volatile province. The disappearance of these units highlights the fragility of even the most powerful military forces when faced with the combined pressures of internal unrest, external threats, and the unforgiving environment of Egypt. As we reflect on these lost legions, we are reminded of the sacrifices made in the name of empire and the enduring mysteries that continue to captivate historians. Next, we'll turn our attention to the Legio 29th, a legion whose fate during the tumultuous years of the Roman Empire's decline adds yet another layer of intrigue to our exploration of Rome's lost legions. Stay with us as we uncover more tales of these vanished forces. Now, let's shift our focus to the Legio 12th Fulminata, a legion whose long and storied history is as fascinating as its mysterious disappearance. Known as the Thunderbolt Legion, the 12th Fulminata was one of the oldest and most distinguished units in the Roman military, with a legacy that spanned centuries. Its origins trace back to the late Roman Republic, where it played a significant role in Julius Caesar's campaigns, including the conquest of Gaul and the civil wars that followed. Over time, the legion became a symbol of Roman might, earning its nickname for its reputation as a swift and decisive force on the battlefield. The 12th Fulminata's most notable achievements came during the early imperial period, particularly under Emperor Augustus. It was stationed in the eastern provinces, where it played a crucial role in maintaining Roman authority in regions like Syria and Judea. The legion was heavily involved in the Jewish revolt of 66 to 73 AD, participating in the siege of Jerusalem and the destruction of the Second Temple. These campaigns solidified its reputation as a formidable fighting force, but they also marked the beginning of a long and challenging period for the legion. Despite its earlier successes, the 12th Fulminata faced significant challenges in the later years of the Roman Empire. The eastern frontier was a volatile region, constantly under threat from the Parthian and later the Sassanid empires. The legion was frequently called upon to defend Roman territories, engaging in numerous battles that stretched its resources and manpower. Over time, the constant warfare took its toll, and the legion's strength began to wane. By the late 3rd century AD, the 12th Fulminata disappears from historical records, leaving behind a legacy shrouded in mystery. Historians have proposed several theories to explain the legion's disappearance. Some suggest that it was annihilated in a major battle against the Sassanids, who were known for their formidable military tactics. Others argue that the legion may have been disbanded due to heavy losses or internal issues, such as desertion or mutiny. Another possibility is that the 12th Fulminata was absorbed into other units as part of broader military reforms during the late Roman Empire. However, the lack of concrete evidence makes it difficult to determine the exact fate of this once great legion. The story of the 12th Fulminata serves as a reminder of the challenges faced by even the most renowned legions during the decline of the Roman Empire. Its disappearance highlights the fragility of military power in the face of relentless external pressures and internal instability. As we reflect on the legacy of the Thunderbolt Legion, we are left with more questions than answers, a testament to the enduring mysteries of Rome's lost legions. Next, we'll explore the fate of the Legio 30th, a unit whose story is intertwined with the shifting tides of power during the Roman Empire's final centuries. Stay with us as we continue to uncover the secrets of these vanished forces. Turning our attention to the Roman-British frontier, we uncover the story of legions whose fates became entangled with the Empire's gradual retreat from Britain. This period, marked by shifting priorities and mounting pressures, saw the disappearance of several units that had once stood as pillars of Roman power in the province. The Roman presence in Britain, which began with the invasion under Emperor Claudius in 43 AD, lasted for centuries. However, by the early 5th century AD, the empire's grip on the island began to loosen, leading to the withdrawal of troops and the eventual abandonment of the province. Among the legions stationed in Britain, the Legio II Augusta stands out as one of the most prominent. This legion played a key role in the initial conquest of Britain and was instrumental in constructing Hadrian's Wall, a monumental fortification that marked the northern boundary of Roman control. For centuries, the Second Augusta and other legions like the Legio 20th Valeria Victrix and the Legio 6th Victrix maintained order, defended against incursions from northern tribes, and supported the province's infrastructure. Yet, as the Roman Empire faced increasing threats on multiple fronts, resources were diverted away from Britain, leaving these legions vulnerable. The withdrawal from Britain was not a sudden event but a gradual process influenced by internal and external factors. The empire's focus shifted to defending its heartland against barbarian invasions, and the legions in Britain were either recalled or left to fend for themselves. Some units may have been reassigned to other regions, while others likely disbanded due to a lack of reinforcements and supplies. The exact fate of these legions remains unclear, as historical records from this period are scarce and fragmented. One theory suggests that some soldiers chose to remain in Britain, integrating into local communities and blending Roman military traditions with those of the native population. This integration could explain the survival of Roman cultural and military influences in post-Roman Britain. Another possibility is that these legions were gradually worn down by constant skirmishes with local tribes, leading to their eventual dissolution. The absence of clear evidence leaves much to speculation, adding to the mystery of their disappearance. The story of the lost legions of the Roman-British frontier highlights the challenges of maintaining a far-flung empire in the face of mounting pressures. It also underscores the resilience of the soldiers who served in these distant outposts far from the empire's center. As we reflect on their legacy, we are reminded of the complex interplay between conquest, defense, and the inevitable decline of imperial power. Next, we'll delve into the enigmatic fate of the Legio 30th, a unit whose story is deeply connected to the turbulent final centuries of the Roman Empire. Join us as we continue to unravel the mysteries of these vanished legions. Shifting our focus to the eastern reaches of the Roman Empire, we now explore the fate of the legions dispatched to Syria, a region that served as a critical frontier against powerful adversaries. The Roman-Syrian campaigns were marked by intense conflicts with local powers and invading forces, creating a volatile environment where entire legions could vanish without a trace. Syria, with its strategic location and rich resources, was a prized possession for Rome, but it also became a battleground where the empire's military might was tested to its limits. Among the legions sent to Syria, the Legio X Fretensis and the Legio XII Fulminata were among the most notable. These units played crucial roles in maintaining Roman authority in the region, defending against incursions from the Parthian Empire and later the Sassanids. However, the harsh realities of prolonged warfare, coupled with the logistical challenges of operating in a distant and often hostile territory, took a heavy toll on these legions. Over time, some units simply disappeared from historical records, leaving behind only fragments of their stories. One of the most significant conflicts in this region was the Roman-Parthian War, which saw fierce battles and shifting alliances. During these campaigns, legions were often stretched thin, facing not only enemy forces but also the harsh desert environment and the constant threat of supply shortages. Some legions may have been decimated in battle, while others could have been disbanded due to heavy casualties or the inability to sustain their numbers. The lack of detailed records from this period adds to the mystery, leaving historians to piece together the fate of these units from scattered accounts and archaeological findings. Another factor contributing to the disappearance of legions in Syria was the rise of local rebellions and the increasing influence of regional powers. As the Roman Empire's grip on the eastern provinces weakened, some legions may have been absorbed into local armies or simply abandoned their posts. There are even theories that some soldiers, cut off from the empire, chose to settle in the region, blending Roman military traditions with local customs. This integration could explain the survival of Roman influences in the area long after the empire's decline. The story of the vanished legions of the Roman-Syrian campaigns serves as a reminder of the immense challenges faced by the Roman military in maintaining control over such a vast and diverse empire. It also highlights the resilience and adaptability of the soldiers who served in these distant outposts, far from the comforts of home. As we reflect on their legacy, we are left to wonder about the untold stories of those who fought and disappeared in the sands of Syria. Next, we'll turn our attention to the Legio XV Apollinaris, a unit whose history is deeply intertwined with the eastern frontier and the shifting tides of Roman power. Join us as we continue to uncover the mysteries of these lost legions. Now, let's journey deeper into the eastern frontier to uncover the enigmatic fate of the Legio XV Apollinaris, a legion whose story is as compelling as it is mysterious. Stationed in the volatile eastern provinces, this unit played a pivotal role in Rome's efforts to maintain control over its distant territories. Yet its ultimate disappearance from historical records has left historians puzzled for centuries. The Legio XV Apollinaris was one of the most enduring legions of the Roman Empire, with a history stretching back to the late Republic. It earned its reputation during the Jewish revolt, where it fought under the command of Titus, the future emperor, during the siege of Jerusalem in the year 70. Its success in this campaign solidified its importance in the Roman military machine, and it was later deployed to the eastern provinces, where it became a key player in the empire's defense against Parthian and later Sassanid threats. For much of its existence, the 15th Apollinaris was stationed in Cappadocia, a region that served as a strategic buffer between Rome and its eastern rivals. Here, the legion was tasked with guarding the empire's borders, suppressing local uprisings, and participating in major campaigns against Parthia. Its presence in the east was a testament to Rome's determination to project power in a region fraught with conflict and instability. However, by the 3rd century, the 15th Apollinaris begins to fade from the historical record. The exact circumstances of its disappearance remain unclear, but several theories have emerged to explain its fate. One possibility is that the legion was decimated during one of the many brutal conflicts with the Sassanid Empire, which had replaced Parthia as Rome's primary eastern adversary. The Sassanids were a formidable enemy, and their campaigns often resulted in heavy Roman casualties. It's possible that the 15th Apollinaris was simply overwhelmed in battle, its ranks depleted beyond recovery. Another theory suggests that the legion may have been disbanded or merged with other units as part of broader military reforms during the crisis of the 3rd century. This period of political and economic turmoil saw the Roman Empire teetering on the brink of collapse, and the military underwent significant restructuring to address the growing threats on multiple fronts. In this chaotic environment, entire legions could have been dissolved or absorbed into new formations, their identities lost in the shuffle. There's also the intriguing possibility that the 15th Apollinaris was not destroyed but instead integrated into local forces or even defected to the enemy. As the Roman Empire's hold on the eastern provinces weakened, some soldiers may have chosen to abandon their posts, either joining local armies or settling in the region. This would explain the absence of records while also highlighting the complex realities faced by soldiers stationed far from the heart of the empire. The mystery of the Legio 15th Apollinaris serves as a poignant reminder of the challenges faced by Rome's legions in the east. It underscores the immense pressures of maintaining an empire that stretched across continents, where even the most formidable military units could vanish without a trace. As we reflect on their story, we're left to wonder about the lives of the soldiers who served in this distant outpost, their triumphs, and their ultimate fate. Next, we'll explore the legions stationed along the Rhine and Danube frontiers, where the Roman Empire faced relentless pressure from barbarian tribes. Join us as we continue to unravel the stories of these lost legions and the enduring mysteries they left behind. Now, let's turn our attention to the Rhine and Danube frontiers, where the Roman Empire faced some of its most relentless challenges. These rivers marked the boundary between the Roman world and the vast, untamed lands of the Germanic tribes. For centuries, legions stationed here stood as the empire's first line of defense, but the pressures of constant warfare and barbarian invasions eventually took their toll, leading to the disappearance of several units. The Rhine and Danube frontiers were critical to Rome's security. These rivers served as natural barriers, but they were also highways for trade, communication, and, unfortunately, invasion. The legions stationed here were tasked with protecting the empire from the Germanic tribes, who were known for their fierce independence and warrior culture. These tribes, including the Goths, Vandals, and Alemanni, posed a constant threat, launching raids and full-scale invasions that tested the limits of Roman military power. One of the most significant challenges came during the 3rd century, a period of intense crisis for the Roman Empire. As internal instability weakened the empire, the Germanic tribes seized the opportunity to launch coordinated attacks. The legions along the Rhine and Danube were stretched thin, forced to defend against multiple incursions while also dealing with supply shortages and dwindling manpower. It was during this chaotic time that several legions simply vanished from the historical record. One such legion was the Legio 22nd Primigenia, which had been stationed at Mogontiacum, modern-day Mainz, for centuries. This legion played a crucial role in defending the Rhine frontier, but by the late 3rd century, it disappears from the sources. Historians speculate that it may have been destroyed in battle against the Alemanni, a powerful Germanic confederation that frequently clashed with Roman forces. Alternatively, the legion could have been disbanded or absorbed into other units as part of the military reforms of the time. Another lost legion was the Legio 8th Augusta, which had a long and distinguished history. Stationed along the Danube, this legion was involved in numerous campaigns against the Goths and other tribes. However, by the 4th century, it too fades from the records. Some theories suggest that the legion was overwhelmed during one of the many Gothic invasions that swept across the Danube frontier. Others propose that it was disbanded due to the empire's inability to maintain such a large and costly military force. The disappearance of these legions highlights the immense challenges faced by Rome in its efforts to defend its borders. The Rhine and Danube frontiers were not just military zones, they were also cultural and economic crossroads. The legions stationed here were not only soldiers but also builders, administrators, and settlers. Their presence helped to Romanize the region, but it also made them vulnerable to the shifting tides of history. As we reflect on the fate of these lost legions, we're reminded of the fragility of even the mightiest empires. The Rhine and Danube frontiers were a crucible of conflict where the Roman Empire's strength was tested time and again. The legions that disappeared here were more than just military units. They were symbols of Rome's ambition and its struggle to maintain control over a vast and diverse empire. Next, we'll venture further east to explore the legions stationed along the Roman-Parthian frontier, where the empire faced another formidable adversary. Join us as we continue to uncover the stories of these vanished forces and the mysteries that surround their fate. Now, we shift our gaze to the eastern edges of the Roman Empire, where the legions faced a different kind of adversary. The Roman-Parthian frontier was a hotbed of tension, where two of the ancient world's greatest powers clashed repeatedly over territory, influence, and pride. This region, stretching from the deserts of Syria to the mountains of Armenia, was a strategic battleground, and the legions stationed here played a crucial role in Rome's efforts to maintain its eastern borders. Yet, despite their importance, some of these units vanished without a trace, leaving behind only fragments of their stories. The Parthian Empire, centered in modern-day Iran, was a formidable opponent. Known for their skilled cavalry and mastery of hit-and-run tactics, the Parthians posed a unique challenge to the Roman legions. Unlike the Germanic tribes of the Rhine and Danube, the Parthians were a highly organized and sophisticated power, capable of fielding large armies and engaging in prolonged campaigns. The Roman legions stationed along this frontier were tasked with defending against Parthian incursions, securing key trade routes, and maintaining Roman influence in the region. But the cost of these efforts was high, and not all legions survived the relentless pressure. One of the most intriguing cases is the Legio XII Fulminata, the Thunderbolt Legion. This unit had a storied history, having fought in numerous campaigns across the empire. Stationed in the eastern provinces, the 12th Fulminata was often at the forefront of Rome's conflicts with Parthia. However, by the late 3rd century, the legion disappears from the historical record. Some historians believe it may have been destroyed during one of the many battles with the Parthians or their successors, the Sassanids. Others suggest that the legion was disbanded or merged with other units as part of broader military reforms. Whatever the case, the fate of the 12th Fulminata remains one of the enduring mysteries of the Roman-Parthian frontier. Another lost legion was the Legio III Gallica, which had been stationed in Syria for centuries. Known for its loyalty and effectiveness, the Third Gallica played a key role in defending the eastern provinces. Yet, by the 4th century, this legion too vanishes from the sources. The reasons for its disappearance are unclear, but it likely fell victim to the same pressures that claimed other legions in the region. The constant warfare, logistical challenges, and political instability of the late Roman Empire would have made it difficult to maintain such a large and specialized military force. The Roman-Parthian frontier was not just a military zone, it was also a cultural crossroads. The legions stationed here interacted with local populations, engaged in trade, and helped to spread Roman influence. But this exposure also made them vulnerable. The Parthians and later the Sassanids were not only military adversaries but also cultural and political rivals. The legions that disappeared along this frontier were more than just soldiers. They were symbols of Rome's ambition to dominate the East, and their loss reflects the empire's struggle to maintain its grip on this volatile region. As we explore the stories of these vanished legions, we're reminded of the complexity of Rome's eastern frontier. It was a place of both opportunity and danger, where the legions faced challenges unlike any they encountered elsewhere. The legions that disappeared here were part of a larger narrative of conflict and adaptation, as Rome sought to navigate the shifting dynamics of power in the ancient world. Next, we'll turn our attention to the final chapter in our exploration of the lost Roman legions, focusing on the Legio XXI Rapax and its mysterious fate. Join us as we uncover the last of these intriguing stories and reflect on the enduring legacy of Rome's vanished forces. Now, as we reach the final chapter of our journey through the lost Roman legions, we turn our attention to the Legio 21st Rapax, a unit whose story is as dramatic as it is mysterious. Known as the Predator Legion, the 21st Rapax was one of Rome's most formidable fighting forces, yet its fate remains shrouded in uncertainty. This legion's tale takes us to the turbulent years of the Batavian Revolt, a conflict that tested the limits of Roman power and loyalty. The 21st Rapax was originally raised during the reign of Augustus, and it quickly earned a reputation for its ferocity in battle. Stationed along the Rhine frontier, the legion played a key role in defending the empire's northern borders. However, its most infamous chapter came during the Batavian Revolt in the year 69, a rebellion led by the Batavi, a Germanic tribe allied with Rome. The revolt was a brutal and chaotic conflict, and the 21st Rapax found itself at the heart of the fighting. During the revolt, the legion was accused of siding with the rebel leader, Julius Civilis, against the Roman Empire. This act of betrayal, whether real or perceived, marked a turning point for the 21st Rapax. After the revolt was crushed, the legion was disbanded by Emperor Vespasian, a decision that underscored the fragility of loyalty in the Roman military. The exact reasons for the legion's disbandment remain debated. Some historians argue that the 21st Rapax was simply too tainted by its association with the rebels, while others suggest that its dissolution was part of broader reforms aimed at consolidating imperial control. The legacy of the 21st Rapax is a complex one. On one hand, it was a symbol of Roman military might, a legion that had fought bravely in numerous campaigns. On the other hand, its involvement in the Batavian Revolt and subsequent disbandment serve as a reminder of the tensions and divisions that could undermine even the most powerful armies. The story of the 21st Rapax also highlights the challenges Rome faced in maintaining control over its vast and diverse empire, where loyalty was often tested by local alliances and rivalries. As we reflect on the fate of the 21st Rapax, we're reminded of the human element behind these ancient legions. These were not just faceless units of soldiers, they were men who lived, fought, and sometimes faltered in the service of an empire that demanded much from them. The disappearance of the 21st Rapax, like so many other legions, leaves us with more questions than answers, but it also invites us to imagine the lives and struggles of those who served under its banner. With this, we conclude our exploration of the 35 most intriguing stories of the lost Roman legions. From the misty hills of Britain to the deserts of the East, these vanished forces remind us of the complexity and fragility of Rome's military might. Which of these legions' fates fascinates you the most? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more historical mysteries. Until next time, keep exploring the past. It's full of stories waiting to be uncovered. As we bring our journey through the lost Roman legions to a close, it's impossible not to marvel at the sheer scale of mystery and intrigue that surrounds these vanished forces. From the 9th Legion's disappearance in the misty hills of Britain to the catastrophic defeat of Varus's legions in the Teutoburg Forest, each story offers a glimpse into the triumphs, tragedies, and uncertainties that shaped the Roman Empire. These legions were more than just military units, they were the lifeblood of an empire, and their fates reflect the challenges Rome faced in maintaining its vast dominion. The enduring mysteries of these lost legions remind us that history is often as much about what we don't know as what we do. Whether it's the enigmatic fate of the 21st Rapax or the whispers of Crassus's soldiers finding their way to China, these stories spark our imagination and invite us to piece together the fragments of the past. They also highlight the human side of history, the soldiers who marched, fought, and sometimes vanished, leaving behind only echoes of their existence. As we reflect on these 35 tales, we're reminded of the fragility of empires and the resilience of those who served them. Each legion's story is a thread in the larger tapestry of Roman history, woven with ambition, loyalty, betrayal, and loss. Which of these legion's fates resonates most with you? Was it the Ninth Legion's mysterious disappearance, the tragic end of Varus's legions, or perhaps the dramatic downfall of the 21st Rapax? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you've enjoyed this deep dive into the lost legions of Rome, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more historical mysteries. The past is full of stories waiting to be uncovered, and we're just getting started. Until next time, keep exploring. History has so much to teach us, and every discovery brings us closer to understanding the world that came before us.